Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new edition of Weekend World with Sophie at PTV World. Today, I feel that I'm very, very fortunate and very, very lucky to be interviewing somebody that I've always admired. Now, you watch her on screen, and the screen is just lit up. It's magic. It is fire. It is absolutely astounding to see the kind of personality that she showcases on this screen. We have a quote. Now, the quote goes something like this. The best acting is instinctive. It's not intellectual. It's not mechanical. It's instinctive. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's an honor and a privilege to be interviewing somebody who I have always been very fond of, the one and only, rolling out the red carpet for Dr. Durdana Butt. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Api, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be interviewing you. It's an honor. I think one of my highs as far as my TV career is concerned, definitely one of the best moments of my life. Thank you for being here tonight.
I'm humbled, Sophie, I'm humbled. And I assure you, I've also been watching you, and I admire the way you intelligently take something
Thank you so much.
across.
It's a pleasure. Now, of course, she is somebody who is not a new name for many of us. Now, be it Sultana of Angantera or Bibi of Tanhaya, one of my personal favorite characters, she never fails to entertain viewers with the solid acting performances. Although she does not need any introduction as an actor, but many people don't really know that she has also been associated with the respected field of education for years. Yes. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken, you are basically a PhD holder in educational administration. And, you have a history as far as your family is concerned as well with respect to education.
Yes,
your father was the inspector of schools in Simla in 1940s.
Yeah.
And then your mother was also a teacher. Your grandmother was a famous writer. Your great-grandfather, Maulvi Fakir Muhammad Saha, was a big scholar of his time. Your maternal uncle, Sirajuddin Zafar, was a big poet and was a recipient of Adamji Award as well. So keeping all of that in mind, mashallah, the amazing history, what have they taught you in life so far?
I think what it has taught me is to be humble. It has taught me that, because we always hear of the saying that the more the tree is laden, the more it bows. So I never used to register that when I was young. I was a complete tomboy. I used to be very naughty, very naughty, and I was a very bad student. Because
that's hard to believe.
That's very hard to believe, but it's it's God's truth. And I used to study we were in England for some time. My father was there as an educational attaché with the Embassy of Pakistan. So all the real beginning started in England.
Wonderful.
I was there till I did my nursery, KG, class 1 and class 2.
So the basic years,
the basic years were there. And then when my father came back to Pakistan, I was about 11 years old, 10 or 11. And we came back and he was again posted in Lahore. So we came to Lahore and it was so hot and I hated the cockroaches and the machhars and all, and I used to cry and I used to say, and then my father, take us back, this is a horrible country, there are so many spiders. So that was how it is. Then my father took us to Murray and I was put into St. Denis.
I can so imagine you saying that to your father, just like that.
Oh yes, I was my father's pet because I was the middle
Daddy's
child.
little girl?
Yeah, because I was the middle child. And I was completely, I was a complete vagabond. I mean, I used to do all the impossible things and a lot of naughty things. And then I used to get bashed up by my mother. But I think it taught me a lot. I was my father's pet. And we could, my elder sister and my younger brother, Khurram Butt, and my elder sister, Rukhsana Anwar Khan, they used to put me forward. Go and ask Daddy Butt Sahiba.
The leader of the pack.
Yeah, we used to call my father Daddy Butt Sahiba. So she said, go and ask Daddy Butt Sahiba if we can go to the movies today. So he never refused me. So I was in that way, and he encouraged me a lot. I must say, that both my parents, my father being in education, my mother also being in education, they were very broad-minded, not broad-minded as such, but they had a vision. They were there with a vision. So they knew that they weren't going to stop the girls from education. But as far as our principles and our culture and rules, they never let us go beyond a certain limit. So with that, I slowly and slowly and slowly, then I came into Sacred Heart Convent. I was there. Now that's where I was the worst student on the earth.
And why is that? There was a lot of discipline in that school.
I was too busy making myself, trying to make myself feel that I was more important than my brother and sister. That middle child syndrome that you have.
Yes, of course.
So the middle child is always either very naughty or there's something odd about the child, so that they get the attention.
True.
And I did that all to get attention. So, but then I was in school and I was very bad. I did a lot of naughty things. And then when we used to have a proclamation in which the results were announced.
Okay.
So when the result day was there, my sister would be biting her nails because of me. And you know, when they announced it, they would say, Durdana Butt, ta, first in class, very good. And you believe it or not, Sophie, when I used to come to our class, the last name, Durdana Butt, 33rd, and I was the only one who was
clapping for your own self.
And my sister used to get wild. Then I went to Canada. I did well in metric. I did a scholarship in metric. I was very bad in Urdu, so my father sat down and taught me Urdu. And then I came to college, Canada.
That's my college too.
Yeah, we're all Canadites, KCites.
KCites, of course.
And according to the Lahorites, we were Lacies. No, they were Lacies and we were KCs.
Yes.
So anyway, when I was in college, I was very sportive and used to play a lot. Again, round. I was getting better in my studies, but I was still more inclined towards sports. So I was then later on became the sports president.
Wonderful.
Of Canade College. Yeah. And Shamima was with me, Shamim Hilali. She's my batchmate. She was the dramatics president and I was the sports president. Yeah. So till then it was okay, and then I suddenly my two grandmothers decided to get me married, and to my mother's cousin. So I didn't know from a fig what was happening, and it was so embarrassing for them, because I remember when they brought the rishta for me, I was in a pair of shorts and my hair was wild and I had a boil on my face with a plaster on it. And they came and I was dancing around them because we were very excited about that mamu of ours.
Right.
And my mother was going blue and black in the face and kept telling my sister, take her away from here, take her away from here. And I said, why? He's my mama, I want to sit with him and talk with him. Anyway, I was married, and then unfortunately after a year and a half, we were separated. And that's when it hit me that this is the reality of life. Everything is not hanky-doodle, because my husband's name was Said Khan, and what a wonderful human being. And the way he pampered me is nobody's business. And then my father, he came to told me, he said, Durdana, what do you want to do now? So I said, Daddy Butt Sahiba, I would like to study. And my mother kept pestering, her family kept pestering her, and she kept pestering me to get married again. So I said, no, I don't want to get married again. And by that time I had done my BA from Canada,
right.
Graduated from Canada. In fact, in Canada I won the Merit of Honor for Canada in dramatics.
How wonderful is that?
It was an intercollegiate dramatic competition against GC and myself and another college. So Shamimu, I stood first and Shamimu stood third.
Okay.
And I got the Merit of Honor and we got the trophy for Connect, which is still there.
Wonderful.
And you go there. And that way, then I realized the reality of life. And that was really one of the turning points of my life. And I told my father, I said, I don't want to get married again. I want to study. So he arranged for me for a French government scholarship. I had done French in Connect for 6 years. So he arranged for me, and then I went to Paris in Sorbonne. I did my diploma in French, and I came back. Then I did my MA privately from GC Lahore, all private. And at the same time, I had started working.
So you're a Ravian as well?
Yeah.
You're a Ravian as well, and then
yes,
you're a
I'm a
KCIT
Ravian.
as well?
I'm a Ravian, but that was because I was registered with Punjab University, but because of my father, I would go to have my tutors from government college.
Right, right.
And my father arranged it, so they
what
were
an
very
institution! What an incredible institution!
Yeah. And so slowly and slowly, I got into working, and then as I was working, I got a scholarship to go for a management workshop in Washington. And while I was there, I did so well.
Of course, and mashallah, your family was into education as well.
And there was a friend of ours whom we made friends with in Pakistan. She was here from America, and she saw me, and she said, then as time passed, I joined Beacon House, and I was working in Beacon House as a PT teacher, part-time. Although at the same time I had been offered a job with the police.
Right.
The IG police at that time, he woke me up in the morning from the house and he said, come, the police is calling you. Why police? Why the police? He says, I don't know what you've done, they're calling you now, and the IG is calling you. I was so scared, Sophie. So I got up, I changed my clothes, I went with him to the IG police, and the minute I was at the door, I was shaking with fear. And as I was shaking with fear, I opened the door and he stood up. And he said, welcome, Miss Butt. And I looked at I just looked at him and I said, well, you called me to say that there was, and then he offered me the job, because they were now selecting inspector of police.
Wow, and what was your first reaction at that point of time?
I was thrilled. I was out of the world. Police? Because as I said, but I was a tomboy. I was on a motorcycle for 6 years in Lahore.
You always wanted to be into the police department.
And I did flying for 36 hours. Until I got optical illusion, and I wanted to be God knows what I wanted to be.
You wanted to be
I wanted to be a commercial pilot. And you name it, and I wanted to be everything.
So the spirit inside of you, the adventurer, the vagabond inside of you, always wanted to explore life.
Yes.
It was always there.
I wanted to feel what it was all about. And that's why I took so many let's say I took so many risks, and I jumped into so many things, and at the end of it I was jack of all trades and master of none.
Well, you're a master or something as well,
now,
as a jack of all trades.
That's when it happened in '86, when I did, not, I thought 86 I think, and there was the first TV award show at Liaquat Auditorium, and Liaquat Hall. And that's where I got the first Best Supporting Actress award for Angan Teda. Actually, they gave it to me for Office, but when one of the judges, panel of judges came to me, she says, we wanted to give you Angan Teda, but we got late, so we thought this year we'd give you Office, but it is actually for Angan Teda.
Angan Teda was a cult classic, one of the best dramas ever.
It was so meaningful, beta. And I think every artist in it fitted like jewels in a ring.
Salim Nasir Khan
with, of course, Salim as the diamond in the ring.
And God bless his soul.
God bless, Allah usko jannat naseeb karega. And we were very close. Salim.
How was your experience with Salim Nasir Khan Sahab?
Oh, he was a very timid person, very soft.
And such a natural actor.
And oh my God.
Such a natural actor.
You know, people like Kavi Khan Sahab, Salim Nasir.
Bushra Ansari also has that natural flair.
Bushra is a wonderful artist and she's a wonderful human being. The only thing I keep telling her is, Bushra, you took up too many things.
Too much on the platter.
वही बात है ना कि black of all trades. In fact, she's the queen of all
Marina
trades.
Khan.
She did a play with Shahzad Sahib, Allah unko jannat naseeb kare.
She was so spontaneous and so bubbly.
She did a play on Rashid Minhas with this one, Shahzad Sahib. And then after that, he took her up for Tanhaiya. And she had such a difficult time learning the language.
Really?
Yeah.
You know all the stories, of course.
Yeah, she had a very tough time. And I remember we used to sit and we used to read with her. Shahzad would teach her, she would do it in Roman and then, but look what a wonderful artist she's become now.
Amazing.
And and
so confident on screen.
Jackson Heights, if you watch that play
yes,
now,
of course.
she was brilliant in that. She was brilliant. But you
Directed by Behreen Chapar.
But Sophie, the reason why, I mean, I started my career from this is my mother institution. And we had just a very small hall behind this place, which used to be the annex of the television. And I can't tell you, I think it was the size of 3/4 of this
set.
This thing. And everything was there. The technical stuff was there, the sets used to go on air and you name it. And we did live plays from that. And at that time, there was no concept of VTRs and all that. So we had to do them live and we in a specific slot. But we had a lot of brilliant directors, producers. Yavar Hayat Saab, mere ustad hain, MNH mere ustad hai, all this class of people. And believe you me, Sophie, I can't tell you how tough it was. Because we had to give 3 days for script reading with the writer and with the director and
Sitting
with the
down
cameraman.
With
And then after 3 days when we'd slashed and argued about the whole set, about the whole concept and the characterization, we would go for the dry rehearsal. So by that time we were supposed to have learned the script.
Right.
We were not allowed to go on the set with the script. So we did the dress rehearsal because at that time we used to have 3 cameras, and the 3 cameras used to run simultaneously. So we had to know the whole play, and we did scene wise, but everybody had to know the scene, everybody else's part.
Had to be very well prepared for that.
And because you never knew when the camera would click on you, and that is the theory of play. The concept and the theory and the ingredients and the essence is not what you perform. It's what my reaction is to your performance.
True.
If I don't react to your performance, you're nowhere.
Agreed.
And if you don't react to my performance, I'm gone.
Of course, if you're not convinced,
exactly,
then there's no point.
You make the other person feel like a dead body standing there.
Completely agree.
And you're standing like a dodo. So that's exactly what we were trained to do. And I remember once, Sophie, that I was late for, I don't know, I was coming from home and it started raining and I was on a motorcycle. So on the way I stopped a little while. मैंने कहा थोड़ा कम हो जाए तो मैं जाऊँगी. So I think hardly 5 or 10 minutes. And I walked in here, I still remember MNH Saab used to sit here and Kamal Saab was sitting there. I was doing unka ye Nanna, that program of theirs.
Okay.
And when I Sophie, ऐसे मेरे दरबारा खोला निसार साहब के कमरे, and Kamal Ahmed, get out. Hi, I was so embarrassed because all the artist was sitting there.
Of course.
I mean, H. Saab also got embarrassed. So then he said, Kamal said, let her be. It's okay. She's telling you that. He says, no, she has not respected my script. If it was going to rain, she should have timed herself in that time to come. And believe you me, Sophie, he never let me do that script.
He didn't.
So that's the kind of training we got.
Very tough.
It was very, very tough. And nobody would let you take it as a something that was going to make you a celebrity or something.
Right.
No. They were more concerned about the character you're doing.
And you have to trust the writer, you have to trust the director, you have to trust your team. You know, there's a very famous saying by Eva Gardner. Goes something like this, that I only have one rule in acting. Trust the director and give him your heart and soul.
That's me. I'm totally a director's artist. In fact, when I did Angan Teda, I got so beat into the role that after that, every role I was doing, there would be a slight similarity in the roles that I was doing with as Amshira. So from that, Shehzad took me out of that. Shehzad Sahib, he said, Dudi, now you're going back to Angan Teda, so be careful. When I was doing Tanhaiya. And he's the one who made me realize that you cannot stereotype yourself, because people finish. I think, everybody knows me as Hamshira, but still my subsequent plays, still I have Tanhaiya, I changed the image there. But somebody like Behrouz, he's always going to be Kabacha.
Always.
But now he has realized and he's come out of it. But it's not the artist alone. It's the fondness of the public for that specific role.
And they connect to that
character. And they connect to it. And that's the difference that I was telling you about, that we used to do plays to establish the role, the character, not establish Durdana Butt, which is happening nowadays.
It's more about the star or the person or the actor.
But only, it's not across the board. It's not across the board. Not everybody is doing that. But obviously when you have 60, 80 plays running from all the channels, so obviously there is going to be some good and some bad. But the very fact that we have so many channels now is the fact that it is progressing.
Yes, of course.
And there is a healthy up this thing. But, and of course, now people are making more money out of it. And while God, I still have a check which was for, I think, 75 rupees. We did the program. So the idea was, and we were not allowed to do more than one serial for 3 months.
Oh, right.
वो एक जो हम serial करते थे.
So there was a timeline for it.
Yeah. उसमें we couldn't do any other acting performances.
So Durdana, tell me that, you know, since you began your career till 2015, present scenario, what are the changes that you really felt took place in the acting side and the production side at the same time?
I think, beta, I'm a very progressive looking person. I'm not a pessimistic, I'm an optimistic person. And I feel good in everybody. I feel good. They may be whatever they are, but they're that for somebody else. Because I give love, and everybody reciprocates for that love for me. So there are a few people who are just too snobbish to acknowledge that love, and they feel that, well, we're something, and
they're sadly mistaken.
Oh, they're sadly mistaken, and life is too short for them to be able to hold that.
Too short for grudges and too short to not give respect to your seniors.
You're not that big so soon. And these children who behave like that must understand that the more they do this, the quicker the other person is going to take his place.
True.
Because you can't go on doing that.
So being humble is the key.
It is. That's what I said in the beginning, that I learned humbleness from all this. At the end of the day, I realized it was more important for me to be humble and bowed before my Allah and my Pantan Pak and my Murshid Sarkar, I feel that I'm more loved today than I was at that time, and I feel good. I was always loved. I mean, even as a child, I was loved
because you have that aura, that personality of positivity, and wherever you go, you pass smiles, and you actually, you know, your positivity is very contagious. The first time I met you, it was an honor for me, a privilege. The first time I met you, I felt so happy. That was the first feeling that I got of happiness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and right now let's take a look at the wonderful journey of the one and only Dr. Durdana Butt. Right after that, we have a short commercial break, and that shall be followed by some more questions coming your way. Keep on watching Weekend World.
तुम कब से जानती हो बरकत साहब को?
वो जी पाइजन चौधरी के दोस्त के कजन है जी। वैसे इनके अब्बा बहुत अच्छे आदमी थे जी, बहुत बाबरकत आदमी थे।
आजकल क्या कर रहे हैं बरकत साहब?
वो जी आजकल तो वो मेरे साथ ब्याह की तैयारियां कर रहे हैं। तो तुम मुझसे सामान कहते हो? अब बेटा मैंने तो समझा कि कूड़ा करकट है, मैंने बात फेंक मारा। आए सफाई करा नहीं। अब तुम कहीं और कहीं जाके इंतजाम क्यों नहीं करते?
मैं जाके किसी और जगह पर जाके रहूं, ये कोई बात है? मेरा घर है।
वही बात है, तुम्हारा घर है। आए इंतजाम कर लो कि नहीं करो, बाहर खड़े रहो। अब बेटा अगर मैं वो सामान बेचना चाहती ना किसी ठेले वाले के हाथ, तो मुझे सिर्फ मुट्ठी भर रियोड़ियां मिलती खाली। तुम्हारा छत तो खाली है, मेरा तो कनस्तर भरा पड़ा है। देख लो, मैंने कह दिया मेरे मुंह मत लगो तुम। खा ऐसे मेरे पीछे पड़ रही है। देखिए ना बाजी जान,
तो यहाँ दिल नहीं लग रहा।
आए दिल नहीं लग रहा, बैठ जा। अभी अंकल आएंगे तो सर्कस करवाऊंगी तेरे लिए। चुप करके बैठ, रेल में दिल नहीं लगता होता। बैठ जी यहाँ पे।
दुर्दाना, मेरा ख्याल है ये पहला खत आपका है।
अच्छा अच्छा, लाइए। मेरा ये इनका पहला खत नहीं है, इससे पहले इनकी 2 तारें और 6 खत आ चुके हैं। बदतमीज। मैं कहती हूँ ये क्या है, ये सब कुछ क्या है भाई? क्या कर रहे हो तुम? अरे भाई अभी हाथ में तुम्हारे पैसा नहीं आया कि तुम्हारी हथेली में छेद आ गए। मगर मैं जीन्स नहीं पहनूंगी।
देखो, तंग दस्ती में तंग पजामा अच्छा लगता है।
आपकी बातें मेरी समझ में नहीं आती।
आप बताइए, आपको किस चीज का शौक है?
शेर और शायरी का।
गुड। ये बताइए, वली दखनी कौन थे?
अव्वल तो वली साहब थे नहीं, वो हैं, और दूसरा वो दखनी नहीं है।
मैं शायर वली दखनी के बारे में पूछ रहा हूँ
ना। तो ये सवाल आप मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? दूसरे भी तो हैं, उनसे क्यों नहीं पूछते?
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You're watching Weekend World. Of course, we are in conversation with the one and only Dr. Durdana Butt, and she's the lady who has a lot of feathers in her cap. Acha ji, so moving on, of course, you're talking about a lot of fun stuff before as well. We were talking about your journey as a career woman, then we were talking about your journey being a vagabond as well. So right now, tell me, if I were to ask you this question, ma'am, do you think acting is inherent or can you acquire it?
Before I go any further about the feather in the cap, I must tell you a very nice joke about that.
Sure.
There was a man who asked his mother to put in the money to send him to England.
Okay.
He said he'd earn money and send it back to her. So he went there. She sent him, bichari, pata nahi how she sent him there. So when he went there and he first got his first job, I don't know what it was, he said, he wrote back to his mother, said, there's a feather in my cap, I've got a job. So after that, when he got a little raise, he told the mother, this is the second feather in my cap. So it's not that he kept writing back to her till he got 5 feathers, and then he lost his job and everything. And he wrote back to his mother and said, I have no money. Please send me money to get me a ticket back home. So the mother wrote back and said, use feathers, fly home.
That is the funny mom. The mom probably had a very funny bone to her.
It was very nice. Anyway, coming back to what you were saying about...
Do you think it's acquired or do you think it's inherent?
It can't be acquired.
Can you practice acting?
That you can practice. But at the end of the day, it is how deep your observation is. The depth of your observation, the nuances, the mannerism, you have to be able to have that depth to follow it.
And an aptitude for acting as well.
Well, that accumulates to aptitude. And I think I always had the flair for comedy.
You did. Your comic timing was perfect.
I had the flair for comedy. In fact, I was very unhappy when I was in Lahore and I was doing all those sad plays, and I used to keep telling Ishfaq Sahib, Allah bakshe, God give him peace and happiness wherever he is. I used to say, Ishfaq Sahib, please write a comedy for me. I feel like doing a comedy. So he did write a comedy, but somehow that blew out of this thing and I couldn't do it. And then by that time I'd moved to Karachi, and my first Karachi production was Angan Tera. So I told them, I said, look, this is what I can do.
This is your forte. Your
Yes.
comic timing is perfect.
It is my forte, and I try to be that's because naturalism is very important.
You know, as they say, cracking a joke is a very serious job.
Yeah, and being natural. If you can convince your viewer that you are the character that you are portraying, then you've done the job.
You've done your job.
And this is the difference today, that we used to work on our character and the character lived on. Nowadays people work for their own glamour.
True.
And their name goes on.
They can't get out of their own
Naam
selves.
so and so is doing a play. What? No, I don't know the name of the play. I don't know what he's doing, but he is so and so. That was not the idea of performance. Not anywhere near what the artistic value of acting is.
True.
So that's the difference. I feel that it's been a very hard journey, and it is not. I think any form of art, that's why you have the different forms of art.
Yes.
Because people have the flair for a particular,
True.
like singing hai, music hai, painting hai, dancing hai, you know, and instrumental playing.
Yes, musicians.
Not everybody can be that. See, people seem to think that it's very simple to become an actor because...
Not at all.
But, you know, look at... Well, this is what I say, that I'm very optimistic, but I still have my little moments where I think that these people are doing, they're not doing a favor to acting by coming and doing what they are. And especially the young children need to, you know, again, beta, again, it's no training. There's no institution. Like in Karachi, there's an institution that teaches theatrical art, but they don't provide any platform to the artists who come out from there. Otherwise, I've always suggested to them that, look, register with the channels.
Right, of course.
And once your children go out, get them to commit that we'll definitely take 5 or 6 or 10 of your children.
So there's a flow of events that's happening.
Yes, so that the children also feel the importance in learning how to act.
True.
Now, I must put I must salute to Anwar Maqsood.
Anwar Maqsood Sahab.
He is doing so much, mashallah. He's changed over from writing for the channels now, because unfortunately people like Hasina Moin and Anwar Maqsood Sahab, then Asghar Nazim Sayyed Saab, and all these people who are very senior and very good writers, the people don't pay them.
So he's indulged himself in theatre.
Yes. And mashallah, he is doing it with the children of Napa.
Yes.
He's giving them the platform, he's giving them the opportunity, and Anwar Maqsood's writing is unbelievable.
Have you seen Angan Tera?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I was very pleased. I was very pleased. Dekhi, you have to judge people with what the fortes they have. You cannot judge them with what you have.
True.
And nobody can be you.
Agreed.
I can't be you and you can't be me.
Agreed.
But if I do want to replicate if you want to replicate my character as Hamshira of Angan Tera, you're going to definitely do it in another way.
You have to bring in your own flavor.
Yes, although I feel that the child who did the role of Salim Nasir in the theatre play, Yasir, he was unbelievable.
Brilliant performer. Very good.
And he had captured the nuances and the characterism and the mannerism of Salim so well. But still, it wasn't Salim Nasir.
Of course, of course.
What he did was unbelievable, because his timing, his timing, you see, वही बात आ जाती है action reaction की. Having performed with a person like Bushra, it shined the two characters, then myself and Chaudhry Saab.
True.
That I don't think any form of art is acquired.
So
It is
it's
in you,
inherent.
and you give what you have.
Wonderful. You were just talking about awards, so we must mention that you are also a recipient of Tamgha Imtiaz, which is an honor for us here in Pakistan as well. And also considering the fact that you've given the sector of education so much of importance. So my next question to you is that tell us about your journey as an educationist and how has it been so far for you?
I was not made to be cut out to be an educationist. Like I told you that I was thrilled to no end with the fact that I was going into the police.
You wanted to do everything.
I wanted to be in the police, I wanted to be a commercial pilot, and you name it, I wanted to have the adventures. But at that time, Mrs. Mona Kusuri, who's a junior to us in Connecticut, very nice lady, bahut achhi bachchi hai, she's a very nice girl. And she had just recently started Les Anges in Lahore. And she remembered that I was the sports president in Connecticut. So she asked me, she said, will you come and work with me for Les Anges? I worked in Les Anges as a general worker around, like a
part of the team.
bee. I was the bee and they were the queen bees. So
quite
after
an
that,
experienced PN?
Yeah.
Quite an experienced PN?
Yeah, yes, quite an experienced PN. So then after that, when she came with Beacon House, I in the meantime had gone to Baltimore to do my MBA.
Ooh,
I did my MBA from there after doing the management workshop. And then I did BA, and then I went for MBA to Baltimore in the US away.
Right.
And when I came back to Beacon House, and I developed the working papers for Beacon House system.
Right.
And I used to try and myself and Mrs. Kusuri would sit down, and we would make the working papers, and then we'd call the principals. The main scratchy stuff I used to do, and then she and I would discuss, and we would bring down the paper, and the principals, whoever were the main people, would come and we discuss that this is going to be the admission policy, this is going to be the finance policy, this is going to be this, and then we had Dr. Salma, excellent academician. She's got her own school now, and she did this. We got her in to get the syllabus and work out the system for that, marking system and all that. So once we developed the booklets for the system, that's when Mona went for spreading the school Beacon House to the 4 main capitals of Pakistan.
Right.
I suggested it to her, and she picked it up. And she's brilliant. And she picked it up, and then she went for Islamabad and Karachi, the first 2. And I wasn't there for that, but when I went to Karachi, then at that time there was a split with City School and with Beacon House. So I was with Mrs. Kusuri, and I was in charge of the admissions, and generally she used to call me the troubleshooter of Beacon House. And then I did a very big play, and I directed a very big play. My niece wrote it, Slipper and the Rose, and it was all over the media, and it was very good. Shahzad Khalil Saab helped me in that. Amjad Parvez Saab helped me with the sets. You name it, and we did a good show there. And then she sent me to Hyderabad.
Okay.
That's the time I was appointed as principal, and she sent me to Steel Town. And my last posting with Connecticut was with Connecticut, with Beacon House was at Quetta, because after that, after Quetta, I went for my MPhil to Toledo, Ohio, and then subsequently I came back and I joined the university. I was with Muhammad Ali Jinnah University as the admission officer. And then I joined Berry University as Director of Students Affairs. And in the meantime, I had a heart attack. And when I had the heart attack, The only thing I did in the the ICU was pray to Allah to let me finish my PhD. That's the only thing I prayed to Allah.
That is what you prayed for.
Allah, please give me a little time to complete my PhD. Anyway, God has been very gracious and I was able to do it. And it's been a wonderful journey.
That sounds remarkable.
Because I think the most wishable and the most wonderful combination is media and education.
That was my next question for you as well. That do you think media and education complement each other that way?
It is unbelievable. The complementation is unbelievable. I remember that when I was in schools in Beacon House and I was doing all these plays, the children would go mad. And I was a little serious when it came to them because I didn't want to disturb their concentration and their, you know, their look to education. So I used to be a little bit stern with them. But once they were in the playground, I would actually be playing with them and running around with them. And I suddenly discovered that whatever I was saying to them, they were loving it and they were learning it. So that's where the combination came. And I think that artists, the real ones, I mean, I'm sorry to say that I don't need,
no,
but I think
you
you
can
do
speak
because,
your heart out.
Because even in the field of education now it's become a joke, I'm sorry to say. Whatever harm and damage we've done to education, that much damage has not been done to the media.
There's so many vested interests of people,
You know,
so much of
I'm shocked.
commercialization.
They're keeping teachers, young girls who just finished doing their intermediate and waiting for their results of BA, and they call you in for the foundation classes, where you're going to lay the foundations
The
of
most
the children.
important.
It is so important. And you hand it over to children who don't know a thing about education and how to teach them. And then this, I would say this odd eyewash of Montessori. I used to tell the teachers there is no Montessori in this country, because the first requirement of Montessori is that there are 7 children to 1 teacher and 1 helper.
So that there is
That
focus,
is the
there's
first,
attention.
yes, because it's learning by experience. And unless you guide them with, and how many children can you guide at one time?
True.
Somebody, they put the pink tower there and they put the pink tower there and let the children go berserk on the pink tower. But they don't realize the value of teaching in these apparatuses.
Agreed, and a lot of teachers don't really know who their students are.
No.
They're very far
And
away
this
from
is
them.
one thing that I introduced in one of the schools. I said, look, for God's sake, if nothing else, बच्चों के name tags लगा दो uniform पे. Teachers के name tags लगाओ. Now, for example, I'm one of those persons who keep looking at your face and not remembering who you. I'm General
Sure,
Khan.
of course.
And I won't remember who you are. Or I know. मेरी जान मैं सबकी जान जी बेटा. My sister says, who was it? I said, I don't know. So
a name tag is very important.
Like in the army, that is the first medium of communication.
True.
If you don't do that, children don't know who you are.
Of course.
You don't know what the child
And
is.
it's easy for the other person
And
as well.
it's so important to be able to communicate. That's how you develop the relationship between the children, and you teach them what is their rights and what are the rights of the other child, and what your rights are, and how you have to stay and live with each other. And that's where the distortion has come.
True.
From our educational institutions.
And it's not just the academics that we're talking about, it is about tarbiyat, as you say, what you learn from your environment, from your home. That's where it all begins. And as I say, the citizens of today, you know, the students of today are going to be the citizens of tomorrow, so we have to be very careful at what we teach them.
They're your future walls, and if you're not teaching them how to live with each other, and this mad Anyway, that is an issue that is unending and one of the very sad reasons.
But you know, there are so many people who are doing a lot for the society, and especially for the educational sector, just like yourself.
Absolutely.
You have your own way of teaching, and I'm sure a lot of students learn so much from you. At the same time, I'm sure you learn a lot from your students as well.
Oh,
You're learning
yes.
every single day.
Well, I'm just going to take it on the lighter side. I was very poor in maths. So when I used to teach...
Join the club.
Yeah, when I used to teach, that's it, the teachers, the children of class 3 or 4, I wouldn't understand the decimals and all that nonsense and you know, and then I used to say, what should I do, what should I do? So I'd call the most brilliant student of maths and ask him to come on the board and do the sum, and I would follow it very carefully and then teach later on.
You were very smart.
You
You got away with a lot of things.
Yeah, I did.
Of course, none other than Dr. Durdana Butt, an institution within herself. So right now we have the last segment for the show. As you can see, we have a giveaway for you, courtesy of Weekend World. It's got a lot of goodies, but this time around, Api, you have to earn that giveaway. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, sure I am.
Are you ready for the challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, now.
You know I am.
Okay,
Go-getter.
now the deal is that you just have 2 seconds to answer the question.
Okay,
So
well.
you have to tell me the first word that comes to your mind when the following words are mentioned. Life.
Enjoyment.
Movies.
Um,
Beep. Comedy.
oh, my life.
Happiness.
Making people happy.
Love.
Love, everybody should be loved.
Struggle.
Struggle, everybody struggles.
Pakistan.
My rule.
Hope.
Must.
Time.
Time to be valued.
Friendship.
Friendship, unending.
Hate.
Not in my direction, not in my directory.
Love.
Love is full of me.
Traveling.
Oh, I've been everywhere.
Weekend World at PTV World.
Brilliant. Taking
Wonderful.
across what Pakistan really is.
Wonderful. You deserve an applause for that fantastic performance. It was amazing, and it was a pleasure hosting a show. I think definitely this is going to be one of the, how shall I put it, what is the right word for it? One of the highs as far as my TV career is concerned. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a pleasure. Now, before we sign out of this conversation, now what would be your take-home message for everyone who's watching Weekend World at PTV World right about now, that how can every citizen of Pakistan work towards a bright and a prosperous Pakistan
I
at
think
an
the
individual
first thing
level?
we need to do as human beings is to love and respect and to give the feeling and the sensitivity to our fellow human beings. And I think that if we, like I say, democracy with responsibility and the women's empowerment with respect. We have to get respect. We don't want to be above the man, but we have to demand our respect as given to us by the Quran. And as far as democracy is concerned, there's no such thing as democracy. It is something that has to be at the highest level of responsibility. And that's Haqooq al-Ibad for you.
Completely agree, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Jeete rahiye beta. God bless you also.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Dr. Durdana Butt. I am completely speechless right now because of what she was mentioning on the show earlier today. She is an institution, somebody who I've always admired and look up to. Tonight's quote is going to be very interesting pertaining to acting, since we were talking about this as well. Goes something like this. Acting deals with very delicate emotions. It is not putting up a mask. Each time an actor acts, he does not hide, he exposes himself. On that note, let us expose the positive side of Pakistan. Have a great night. Thank you very much for watching Weekend World.